From the ravages of war, to massive fires, to complete abandonment. What began as a testament to God and a triumph for the colonial people of Stafford County soon found itself on the brink of destruction. The year was 1751, when an announcement was made by the governing vestry of Stafford to build a brick church near the head of Aquia Creek. This was not the first church to occupy this site.
This church is actually the third of three churches that existed on this site. The first one was gone by 1700. The vestry of the second church in the 1740s decided that they would like a grand, beautiful brick church built on this site.
The vestry was the local governing body. The state legislature provided the money as taxed by the vestry. Local taxpayers, whether they were Anglican or not, provided the tax money that the vestry used for building this building.
They contracted with a man named Morning Richards for 110,900 pounds of tobacco to build Aquia Church.
The response to this announcement was mostly negative. The residents of Stafford did not want a new, more expensive church built. But despite their opinions, the people ultimately paid for its construction.
Many people were not interested in supporting anymore what had been the official established church of the colony of Virginia. Once the American colonists defeated the British, they weren't always in favor of supporting legacies of the British colony.
Finally, in 1757, the construction for Aquia Church was completed. Along with its unique Greek cross structure and three-tiered pulpit, the church had also received a priceless treasure, a magnificent silver communion set.
The set consists of 4 pieces: a chalice, a flagon, a paten, which is a small dish, and then another small dish that would go over the chalice.
Years before Aquia Church's construction, the Reverend Alexander Scott gave this priceless silver set to the church. Since then, it has been protected many times from enemies who sought its value for their own advantage.
During each of the 3 conflicts, a parishioner took the silver home with them and buried it for the duration of the war.
No longer supported for being a part of the Church of England after the Revolutionary War, the church was left in a state of disrepair and ruin. But like a wounded soldier, the church struggled on, narrowly avoiding the mass burnings of the British troops during the War of 1812. Finally, the church faced its final conflict. The Civil War found Stafford home to nearly 100,000 Union soldiers, and most large buildings of that time became occupied by troops. Aquia Church was no exception.
Given how long the Union troops were here in the Civil War, used it for something like a field hospital, certainly as a kind of encampment area. We actually know that some Confederate soldiers were here because of the carvings that they've left on the building's exterior, including, for example, the 5th Regiment from Texas. But there are also Union troops who left their own carvings and engravings on the exterior as well.
As the war raged on, the church changed hands many times. With the end of the Civil War, Aquia Church had survived 3 devastating wars. Throughout the bloodshed, times of hopelessness, and near destruction, not one brick fell. Today, it still stands, a testimony to vigilance. And like the soldiers that once occupied it, Aquia Episcopal Church marches on.